This is a demonstration of a feature I wrote called AI Redesign. This is a web component that was written in Vue 3, and the concept is that this fancy little button that has this animation, which is kind of designed to get your attention here, slurps up the images on the page and allows you to imagine, if you were a prospective buyer, what something could look like if you modified it. So if you want to engage the feature, you click the button and you can see the web component launches. And you have an intro screen that basically explains what you're about to do with this neat little slide and reveal thing. And you enter step 1 here, and it's basically going to consume the photos on the page of wherever it's embedded. And then we can find a photo that we want to remodel. So a good use case for this would be something like, oh, well, I really love X, Y, and Z about the home, but I just can't get over the fact that it's Scandinavian, and I can't get over the fact that the floors are orange, or whatever the thing is that the person is blocked on in terms of a purchasing decision. So you would come in here and you would select a photo. And in step 1, we're going to fire the photo off to a proprietary system that tries to figure out some things about it just by analyzing it. So we can see right here that the feature identified that it's an indoor photo versus outdoor, and that's a living room. So pretty cool that the user doesn't actually have to manually select what they're going to be submitting for a redesign, because that information just sort of happens magically. And of course, if it makes a mistake, you can override any of these options by selecting them and modifying them. So, right here, you have a couple of options. You can reimagine, repurpose, repaint, refloor, refinish. You can imagine if you were trying to repurpose this living room as a kitchen, for example, you would select that, and that would be what would be rendered. So let's reimagine this living room, which actually already looks pretty good, in an industrial style. You can see that AI has basically taken the concept of this photo and completely reimagined it to be in this new industrial format. For larger screens, you are able to cheat a little bit because I'm on my tiny little laptop screen here. Well, it's not letting me do that. But anyway, there's a big mode. If your screen is big enough to support the big mode, I should have thought of that before I started this video. But yeah, you can go ahead and select a new image. We can try to do an outside photo this time. You can see it figured out that it's outdoor and that it's a home. That was all done through AI analysis on the picture itself. And most of these are pretty ordinary options, but we have some wild ones like brutalist or Victorian, Tudor Revival, Georgian landscape would be applying only a modification to the landscape. You could do general restoration, excuse me. So let's go ahead and pick the Victorian style, and let's go ahead and try to get a color here that can influence outcome. So save that, and then let's reimagine it. You can kind of tell at every step you sort of have this AI style instruction panel that's sort of on the top, and the typing is just this philosophical thing where your brain knows that you're performing this AI redesign. So it makes a lot of sense to kind of sync that concept of the virtual typing, which we're now very familiar with through OpenAI and stuff like that. So you can see on this guy, it actually modified the upper dimensions of the home, so it does hallucinate sometimes. I spent a lot of time trying to dial in these prompts to get it as close as possible to what the end game would be in an ideal situation, but it still gives you an inference or an idea if you were to remodel this home in the Victorian style, what it would look like. And it really did a pretty good job on the bottom level of maintaining the original architecture. And then because we picked that blue color, it used that to influence the outcome of the remodel. And as you can see here, because we already went through the process of doing one of these before, you end up with this little session-based save, whatever I looked at recently kind of option. Cool. So we can try one more before we call it a day. But again, the analysis remembered to identify this as an indoor photo, and it again correctly identified it as a living room. It does a pretty good job on all room types, including bathrooms as well. And because we picked that blue color before, it's going to remember that. So let's keep that blue color, and let's move to a refloor option, and let's go for concrete floor. Now, the idea with these selections is that it's not going to do a complete reimagination of the entire landscape. If it works right, it's just going to target the floors and leave everything else alone. So we've got refloor selected, we know we're in the living room, and we pick concrete. This probably won't look that great because the floors are already nice, but if that was your thing, blue concrete, let's see if we can pull it off. And there you have it. It maintained the original furniture and the original layout. It didn't mess with the TV or the couch or the ottoman or anything like that. And now we have a pretty good semblance of what a concrete floor could look like in this context. So that's basically it. That's the thing I made. And you can even download your photo if you want to keep it. And there are also share options if you want to share it to social media. My goal with this video is to illustrate something that I made, put a lot of time and effort into, that I think that turned out pretty well, and from a design standpoint, it looks pretty nice. Thanks for listening.